Hello, everyone. My name is Lexi, and this is Sincerely Self. I'm so excited because today I am joined by Marisa.
Hello.
Dude, I remember when I think it was one of the first times we had hung out when we went to go get lunch. Do you know what I'm talking about? The first time
Yes.
we had hung out in months.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. I remember.
Mhm.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I don't know why I
Yeah.
was scared. You're like the sweetest person ever.
Dude, me and Marissa went through we both went through traumatizing things at the same time together, and it's kind of how we met, and just toxic things we went through, and we didn't really talk a lot during while that was
Mhm.
happening. And then after we were both out of it, we went to lunch,
Mhm.
and we both were just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, you actually reached out to me. I remember I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, like she messaged me." And then we I think I came to Logan, right?
No, I came up to you that first time.
We've gotten lunch a few times, so I'm
Yeah, now
just
we
like,
have, at
okay.
this point in time, now we have,
Mhm.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, a good little I don't know. I think it's just so crazy to see where we are
mhm.
now compared to where we were even just 2 years ago. I feel like we've both grown a lot
So much.
from
Mhm.
kind of the things that we went through together, and also just in life during that time.
Mhm.
So I'm so happy
Mhm.
to have you on the podcast,
Well, thank you
dude.
for having me.
Yes, of
Mhm.
course. So the first thing that I kind of want to talk about a little bit is just your background with photography,
Mhm.
because I'm going to tell the story because me and you just barely
Mhm.
talked about it. But one of the first times that me and Marissa met, we were in this parking garage and she was taking pictures, and I had just graduated. Marissa was still in high
Mhm.
school, and she was telling me how she really loved to do photography, and she wanted to pursue it outside of high school.
Mhm.
And I just think it's so cool to see where you are now. So, what has kind of been your history with photography?
So it kind of started in junior high. I was always the friend in the group that was always just like taking pictures or like it just kind of happened, you know. There's always like the one friend in the group is like, "Yeah, like I'll take your pictures," or
Hmm.
I'm like a memory type of person, so I'm always having my phone like taking videos and people are like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm going to look back at this and then remember it." So in junior high, I'd always do that, and then I think it was like transitioning into high school. I was like, my sister had a camera that my dad gave her, and I was like, you don't even use this. Like, can I like mess around with it? Like, just cause. And I was taking a few pictures. I took pictures like for my brother and like his football games, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, I kind of want to see what I could do. So for Christmas, I had asked for a camera. I didn't think I was gonna get it, but I got it. And like it was the day after for Christmas, I went out and just took pictures of like my sisters. And I was like, I think I want to do this. And I think it was actually the day after Christmas, like I made an account and everything. And I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but we'll just do it for fun. So I kind of started doing it a little in high school, just taking like free pictures for everybody, just
Hmm.
messing around with it. I really didn't think anything of it. But then yeah, I remember like it was my senior year, and then that's kind of when we met,
Yeah.
and then we talked. It's like, yeah, I kind of want to do this, like going out of like of high school, and like I slowly like started taking pictures for people, and then like actually putting a price to it, and then
Hmm.
um, I like slowly started getting more people like just to like take pictures and everything like that. And I was like, I kind of like this. Like, I think I can actually do this. So I did it out of high school going into college, and I started to take more pictures, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Is like I actually have like a small little business that's continuing to grow and to take photos, which I love.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I keep seeing your stories and I'm like, she's booked. When
Mhm.
you post okay, here's my availability. I'm like, these are going quick.
It's honestly crazy. Like I feel high school me would be just shocked because it'd be like maybe a few shoots a month, like maybe like one, like two or three a month when I was in high school. But now it's like I have some like every week. Like
Hmm.
even getting people to get like fit in is kind of crazy, which is it's honestly kind of awesome, especially to see like my work when I was like younger compared to now, like how much it's
Yeah.
grown. Like it's awesome.
Hmm. And I love that you've been kind of exploring with your editing styles. I think that's
Hmm.
cool that you like to do that,
Hmm.
because me and Marissa have taken pictures a few times. And every single time you're like, okay, this is kind of
Hmm.
my vision for this. And so, how do you feel like with photography, you've been able to kind of show your creativity with it?
I feel like being a photographer in that area is a little hard just because
Hmm.
especially in Utah, like I didn't realize how many photographers there are in Utah
Yeah.
until I started doing photography, and I feel like it's kind of like a competitive area,
Mhm.
especially with like how everyone's like editing styles are a little different. So kind
Yeah.
of just finding like what you like and what your editing style is kind of hard. I think over time I've definitely had to like learn from it, but I think right now I send out these questionnaires to people and they
Mhm.
kind of like just tell me about themselves, like
Oh, cool.
especially for like couples and stuff, like how you met and like what their inspo kind of is. And I like to be able to kind of like tell a little story off of that. Um kind of show more off like the candid type like of like how they are.
Mhm.
So just with that, I kind of have my own set of like editing type of style, and that kind of just develops by itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. Photography is kind of like a competitive field, especially in Utah. I think it's cool that you do like customize it to
Hmm.
be like your editing and you ask like how did you guys meet
Hmm.
and you ask for inspiration things because it it makes it more unique, you know? Like what you do is a little bit different than what the next person
Hmm.
does, you know? And I think it's exciting your account is like over 1,000
Hmm.
followers now.
Yeah,
Like you're getting
it's
up
been
there.
awesome. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think with that is just I definitely think having confidence is a big thing. I feel like that's kind of something I struggled with before with doing
Yeah.
photography. And I feel like, I don't know if I'm speaking for like other photographers as well, but I feel like that's kind of hard, especially with being in Utah. Like
Mhm.
you gotta just go for it. And that's what I've kind of learned to do is just be confident in like my editing. And I find like when I'm confident, the turnout is better. Whereas if I'm putting myself down, it's kind of like, okay, well, if I'm thinking like this, then the photos aren't even going to turn out like I.
Yeah.
So just being confident, especially in the editing process, has been very helpful, and I feel
Mhm.
like has made like my business grow. So.
That's so
Mhm.
good. Something that I've been asking everybody that I've done a
Mhm.
collab with kind of this year, just because it's something that I've learned a lot, is that who you surround yourself with. Like if you surround yourself with people who uplift you and motivate you, like
Mhm.
you see it in what you pursue, like your passions and everything.
Mhm.
So how have you kind of noticed that in
Mhm.
your own life?
I feel like um, your circle definitely matters, especially in life. I'm lucky to have a supportive family and just a bunch of friends. My family has been super supportive of me since I've started photography. Like getting that camera for me for Christmas, and
Mhm.
I think it's always nice. Like I always like to go and like show my mom or sister like my photos, especially my mom, and
Mhm.
she's like, "You're doing so good. Like they look so good. Like I'm proud of you." Or I'm always like talking to parents and be like, "Yeah, like I have these shoots booked," and they're like, "Oh, like that's awesome." Like just very encouraging, and I feel like that's important.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you have like those people that are going to put you down, I feel like that kind of just puts you down.
Mhm.
So I'm lucky to have a good circle, like of friends and family. Like even I have friends, like they're always asking up, which is super good. Like I have a friend up in Canada. She's like, yeah, she's like, I've been doing like seeing your stuff, like it's super good, and like just checking in on stuff like that. I feel like it's important and actually shows that they care, which kind of makes me like a little bit more like kind of inspired to keep on pushing what I want to do. Because
Yeah.
it's like if other people see it and like people that I care about see it and like they think it's good and it's like they actually care, then it's like okay, I'm gonna keep on doing this, and it's if it's positive, then yeah. So I feel like that's been super nice to have
Mhm.
people like that in my life.
Yeah, that's so true. Cause even like me doing the podcast, like having my friends and family be like, it's going super good. Like, I
Hmm.
love it. Like, that's so awesome that you're doing that. Like, just hearing those words of
Hmm.
affirmation from like the people you love, it's like, okay, maybe this is going
Hmm.
really good. Like, maybe I'm doing really good. Like, I can keep doing this.
I feel like that's the type of person I am too. Like
Hmm.
especially like when it comes like like love languages and everything, like words of affirmation is kind of like a big thing for me.
Hmm.
I kind of like grew up like kind of suppressing my feelings a lot just with like stuff that had happened like with my family and like the way I kind of grew up. So that was kind of my
Hmm.
thing. But as I've gotten older, I feel like reassurance is like a big thing for me. So when
Hmm.
someone tells me I'm doing good, I it makes me feel good about myself because I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people sometimes need to hear that.
Hmm.
Um, especially with like when it comes to me with my photos. Sometimes I do find myself like beating myself down because I'm like, I feel like this could be better. But
Hmm.
like when I have someone tell me that I'm doing good, it kind of uplifts me
Yeah.
and it makes me feel good. So,
Hmm.
hmm.
On that note, kind of, and this is like a very broad
Hmm.
question. So, how do you feel like your trials and
Mhm.
just the things that you've gone through and experienced in life, how has it made you a stronger person and helped you
Mhm.
feel that confidence in yourself and
Yeah.
in your work?
So, actually funny story. There was this one time I took photos for someone. It was like bridals, elopement kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um and I've never had this happen to me before, but she was kind of just basically the client was kind of just telling me how to do my job.
Mhm.
And this was actually this year. Yeah, it was this year. But she was like, "Yeah, like you got to get it from like these angles, come here, and like you got to get it from here." And I was like, "You didn't send me any inspo. Like I asked, you sent me two pictures."
Yeah, you're like, "Wait a
And
minute, girl."
and I left that shoot just feeling kind of just like defeated. Like I remember I got in my car and I cried. I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like I've never had that happen to me. And um that whole week I was just kind of like down. I was like, I honestly didn't even want to touch the photos. I was like, that has never happened to me. Like I've never had someone tell me how to do my job or like that I was doing something wrong. I was like, and for a while I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to take photos. Like I was just like, it kind of just shot my confidence down. I was like, but
Yeah.
I called my boyfriend that day that it happened. He's like, "Well, just don't listen to her. Like, it's not you. Like, the photos will turn out great." And like, I talked to my parents. Also, kind of deals with like having that supportive circle.
Mhm.
And it took me a little while to kind of like get up from that because I was like,
Yeah.
what if I go to a shoot and then like someone's gonna like say something again but I think I learned from that to kind of just like take it with a grain of salt, like just keep my head up. And I think ever since there, like I said, like having confidence, like confidence in what you're doing in your work will like do so much. So ever since then, I've kind of just like, I've really just been positive about it. Like if
Mhm.
there's something, kind of just like shrug it off. And like if someone books with me, they're booking with me for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think definitely I've learned from that. And I feel like I've seen myself grow in that way from just being more positive in like the work that I'm doing. So,
Yeah. I love that. I love that you make such a big focus on
mhm,
like the confidence aspect because
mhm,
that's really what sets you apart
mhm,
from everybody else like when you're in a competitive field.
mhm.
Like how authentic you are and how much you believe in yourself, like other people are going to feel that energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can just from the outside, like you can feel that you're super secure
Mhm.
in yourself and in your job and that you know how you like to do it, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like a lot of people look into that, especially with like photos. Like, if you're booking someone, like, you want to make sure you're in good hands because you're investing your money in this person
mhm.
to like give you some like good photos or like capture like those memories and stuff like that. So I feel like that's something I try to show, especially at photo shoots, is like I'm confident in what I'm doing. Like I'm confident in how I'm posing you, like where you're facing with like the lighting. A big thing for me is like a hype man.
Mhm.
I think that's so important. I remember I got my senior photos taken one time and I was just like, it wasn't bad, but I feel like if I would have been more hyped, I would have been a little bit more comfortable in the camera.
Yeah.
And I, especially with girls, I feel like if you feel good about yourself, you're going to show it in the camera.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's something I also try to focus on is like hyping the people up in the camera. They
Mhm.
might think I'm weird, but like in the end, the photos turn out great. So I feel like that's something that's really important, especially as a photographer. Some people do it, some people don't.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's important. And I feel like I kind of bring that to the table, which also
Mhm.
kind of sets me apart from
Yeah.
other photographers.
That's honestly so true, and I mean, I noticed that because anytime I've done a shoot with
Hmm.
you, like, I've noticed that I'm like, "Okay," like,
Yeah.
it definitely helps me when I'm,
Hmm.
like, doing the posing and everything, but I've worked with other photographers before, and, like, yeah, I remember one time I was shooting for this, like, clothing company,
Hmm.
and, yeah, the photographer, like, didn't really say much other
Hmm.
than just, like, "Okay, turn this way, pose this way," and then it
Yeah.
was, like, silence, and you do, like, feel a lot of pressure, so
Hmm.
I feel like you're really good at kinda
Hmm.
easing the pressure, making everybody feel
Hmm.
comfortable, and like it's not a big deal,
Yeah.
you know? Like the
Hmm.
more relaxed the person is, the better the pictures are going to turn
I
out.
also feel
So,
like it's just more fun. Photos are
yeah.
not meant to be like okay, strict, like just smile, call it good. I
Mhm.
feel like if you're getting photos taken, especially like you want to remember them, like look back, I remember we took like this photo, like these photos and we did that, like this and that. But like
Mhm.
I just feel like if it's like that, then it'll be more fun and like I don't know. Also that's all why I love my job
Yeah.
is because I like to make especially like couples like I always tell them I'm like couples are so easy to work with because if you have your chemistry, I'll tell you one thing and you guys kind of just do your own thing. But like
Mhm.
that's also like how you get the good photos, those candid photos is like give these prompts and they kind of do their own thing, which is also why I love my job because I love being able to capture those like moments that they have themselves and
Yeah.
then I can just give it to them so then they remember those photos. So,
That's amazing. What would you say is your favorite type of shoot to do?
I would definitely say couples. That's
Mhm.
also just because I'm a sucker for love.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I feel like they're a little bit more like easier too. Like I said,
Mhm.
like you just give them a prompt and I'm over here just with my camera and just like smiling in the back or even weddings.
Yeah.
I love weddings just like during like the ceremony. Like I'm in the back and they're saying like their vows and everything and I'm over here getting all emotional.
No,
But I
literally.
just love it cuz it's like I feel like for me like love is just it's so big.
Mhm.
So to be able to see that and capture that, or even when I'm editing too, I'm just like scrolling or just like applying like presets and everything, and I'm just like over here getting emotional. Like if I could record myself so people could see like my reaction when I edit, especially couple photos, like
Mhm.
they are just my favorite to do.
Dude, yeah, the couple ones are so fun. Like I remember when you took pictures for me and
Mhm,
my boyfriend. Like, yeah, it is a different kind of vibe than
mhm,
when you're just kind of there by yourself. Like when there is like the chemistry there and
mhm,
you have like your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or
mhm,
whatever, and like you just capture it.
mhm.
Like it's just so authentic.
Yeah, it's always nice having like returning clients come back.
Mhm.
It's especially like when you go like from like boyfriend to girlfriend to getting your engagements and to getting married. Like
Yeah.
I always love that. I had a couple, I took their couple photos a few years ago, and then I took their engagements and I took their wedding photos in June. So it's super awesome to see
Wow.
like the growth in like relationships. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, especially to have them come back to me to take
For
photos. Yeah,
everything.
which is like awesome because I'm like, you trust me to take these photos for you, especially like your wedding. Like weddings are so big. Like you
Mhm.
cannot redo that or go back in time to take these photos. So like that's a lot of trust, but I love when like people can come back and trust me to take those photos for them.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
so cool that you got to see like kind of their relationship progress
Mhm.
and that they were like, oh, we're gonna have Marissa for
Mhm.
everything that they were doing.
No, I
That's
love that. Mhm.
amazing.
If they're like for beginner photographers,
Mhm.
just like kind of some advice on that is to keep trying and to not give up,
Mhm.
and to just keep messing around. I kind of, I feel like if someone gave me the advice, would be like definitely to keep my head up, to keep like doing those like free photo shoots until you feel comfortable,
Mhm.
and just have fun with it. I feel like if you're not having fun with it, you're kind of not gonna like it.
Mhm.
Um, and then it's kind of you're kind of just gonna despise doing it.
Yeah.
So that's like what I like to do is like, especially for shoots, it's kind of like add a twist to it, have fun with it, so then I can enjoy it myself.
Mhm.
So I would say for beginners out there, don't give up and just keep shooting. So.
Yeah, cuz I feel like
Mhm.
sometimes people think that if they're doing something that they love to do, that they're never going to feel like it's a chore
Mhm.
or something that they have to do, but I feel like it's kind of becomes the opposite when it's getting busy, you know?
Mhm.
It's not that it feels like it's something you have to do all the time, but
Mhm.
if you keep it fun and keep it in a way that you like, then you still enjoy to do it,
Mhm.
even if it's getting super
Yeah.
busy.
Also with that, I think something I've learned and that I have learned like from like my boyfriend and just like my family is that it's okay to say no.
Mhm.
Especially during like a busy season. Like for me, I'm doing full-time college. I also have like a part-time job besides photography,
Mhm.
and sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. Um, so saying no is okay to clients. Like it's okay to be like, I can squeeze you in like next month or something. Like you don't have to explain, but it's okay to say no. Like take care of yourself. I feel like not a lot of people talk about it, but sometimes photography it could be a little it could kind of it'd be a little draining in a way
Yeah.
just because like there's the pressure of like editing photos and like getting photos sent out by a timeline, but yeah, just saying no is okay. Like taking the time for yourself to like take care of yourself, like
Mhm.
have a little like self-care day. I feel
Yeah.
like that's super important, but yeah, saying no is okay. That's something I have learned this year is
Mhm.
it's okay. People
Yeah.
will understand, and like your mental health is first. So
I was gonna ask like how you found the balance because yeah, you're doing full
mhm,
time college, you have another job, and then you also
mhm,
do this business. So yeah, kind of has it, the main way you've been able to find balance
Mhm.
is just setting those boundaries.
Yeah. So for sure, I think at the beginning I just burnt myself out.
Mhm.
And that's why I said like you gotta just make sure you kind of set that time for yourself. Otherwise you're not gonna like doing it. So that for a little while I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like this is being stressful. Like I don't want like photography to feel like this is just something I don't enjoy anymore. So like over the last few months I've just learned like, okay, if I'm gonna do school, I can do it. Just make sure I focus on school, get my homework out of the way. Tend to do photo shoots on the weekends, so my weekends I like to make sure I get my homework done during the week.
Mhm.
I'll have a few like free like hours that I'll edit between. So I kind of like to keep myself a little organized. And then obviously like my Sundays I like to kind of spend time with my family.
Mhm.
And then like during the night if I have free time I just like to edit. But I try not to overbook myself with photos
Mhm.
because it's like back and forth, but I have definitely learned to just make sure I have enough time or even set extra time for myself.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if not, I'm going to be burnt out. So,
Yeah. Yeah, the
mm,
mental health aspect is so important
mhm,
because once you're burnt out, then you're just not doing it the
mhm,
same way that you usually would.
mhm. I feel like if you're burnt out too, then like your work is not going to look as good as it looks like before.
Mhm.
So, even sometimes for me, if I'm like mid like editing, I kind of just like to shut my laptop off. Even if it's like for a day or just a few hours, put it to the side, go do something else. Kind
Mhm.
of let like my brain like refresh and then come back to it. And I find myself like editing a lot more faster or like the workflow goes a lot more smooth.
Mhm.
So,
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I talked to Sophia about this when I
mm,
did the collab last week, but um it's so important to make time to just be by
mhm,
yourself. Like it's important to have time with your family. It's important to have time like doing your work and doing the things that you need to do like editing.
mhm,
But like having that time, just like that alone time where you do whatever is self-care for
mhm.
you in that moment is really what's the game
Yeah.
changer.
Yep. Now, I definitely have been implementing that more,
Mhm.
especially now. I mean, it's winter season, so
Yeah.
which is kind of nice though, is like just being home and like not going out as much, which is kind of nice. But just to set the time to like, I'm gonna watch a movie. Okay, I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna put my laptop with me. That's also something I've been learning too. Is like I've been trying to like spend more quality time with my family. Is
Yeah.
like put the photos away. Like
Mhm.
I can edit anytime I want, but just be there in the moment, like with my family or just like with my boyfriend and enjoy that time. The photos can, like I'll get to them. So,
Yeah,
hmm
just being present with
hmm
whoever you're with in
yeah,
the moment.
hmm
I love that.
so,
Dude, I think it's so fun, just like with you and your boyfriend as
hmm
well, just like seeing your growth. I feel like when you are in having healthy love, like it really changes you as a person, you
hmm
know? And I feel like it's been so cool to kind of watch that happen for
Yeah,
you.
no, he's definitely been super supportive of what I'm doing.
Mhm.
There's times where I'm like, yeah, like I just had like this client just book a wedding with me. And they're like, yeah, like keep doing it. Like he's been very encouraging about it. Or he's like, yeah, like go full time with it. Like you can do it. And I think it's just really nice to have like a person in your life that pushes you to be better and
Yeah.
like pushes you for your goals and something that you like.
Mhm.
So he's been super supportive about it. And I feel like as a person, I've grown because of him, and I've also
Yeah.
grown in like my photography that way. So
Mhm.
it's been super nice.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
amazing. What are some of your goals for your
Mhm.
photography, like kind of moving
Yeah.
forward?
So I for sure I kind of did this little like I like to this actually this month I kind of added up like how many like people I've like taken photos for, like what's more popular that I've been taking photos for.
Mhm.
So I've kind of set a goal for next year um to double the amount of clients that I did this year.
Mhm.
Um, I would say I didn't start getting too busy until say probably about August. So
Mhm.
August until like right now is where I've gotten the most clients. But that's also because I wasn't doing as much photos during the beginning of the year just because I wasn't too focused on photos.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving into next year, my goal is to double my clients and hopefully take it full time.
Mhm.
I'm really leaning towards it right now. So I think that's what my goal is. I'm very interested to see if I do take it full time, where it's gonna take me,
Yeah.
um, and definitely to shoot more weddings next year. So that
Mhm.
is the goal. That is the goals that I'm setting for myself next year. So
Yay.
mhm.
Have you ever thought about like traveling for the photography
Mhm.
at all, like in
I
the
Yeah.
future?
In the future, I would
Mhm.
love to do that. I see a lot of people that do it, or even like
Mhm.
elopements. I would love to
Yes.
do like a travel elopement. That would be like one of like my big goals is to do like if someone could fly me to do like a wedding, that would be a dream. Like
Mhm.
obviously I got to kind of build myself up for that.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of want to get more weddings. I have a few weddings booked for next year, but to really just put my work out there and like for it to reach other people, like
Mhm.
if it's out of like the country or even out of the state, like that would be a dream to just fly somewhere to like take wedding photos.
Yes,
Mhm.
that would be so fun. I love that you have like some goals that like you've sat down and been
Mhm.
like, this is what I want to work on
Mhm.
for next year. Because I think when you have set goals in place,
Mhm.
it makes it a little bit easier to stay
Mhm.
motivated and to stay focused because you know exactly what you're working towards.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I actually did that. Yeah, it was last yeah, it was like last month that I sat myself down. And that's also kind of I've been like up and down about taking it full time. I was like, okay, so I like ran numbers. I was like, I could do this. If I take this full time, I could do it. Like it'll be okay. That kind of just goes with the confidence thing again. Really just
Mm-hmm.
being confident in myself that I could do it and push myself to do it. And also just continuing to post because I feel like that's how I get most of my clients is just like by like Instagram or a lot of like some ones have been like word of mouth. Like I've had
Yeah.
like people from like I like my church or people from like my mom that had like she does lashes, so she kind of a mom, she's always like talking about her kids.
Yes.
So she'll like have talk about it and then people will come to me, which
Mm-hmm.
is super nice. So
Yeah, just trying to improve your clientele. Dude, I'm
mhm.
so excited for you to see what 2025
I know.
kind of
I'm excited.
brings.
It's gonna go by so fast. This year went by so fast already.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see what next year holds, especially like senior season or grad season. Everyone's graduating and
Yeah.
or I feel like engagement season. A lot of people are getting engaged right now this time of year. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, or everybody's getting married. Like I just had this girl
Yeah.
message me for her wedding and I was like,
Oh my
oh, so
gosh.
exciting. So
That's so exciting. Yay, I'm so excited for you,
me
dude.
too. Thanks.
Yes. I'm going to link all of Marissa's photography information. So if you guys are in Utah, you need to go and book with her.
Yes, please.
Yes. If you follow, well, if you look at the Sincerely Self picture that I have for it, the cover art, Marissa took that
Yes.
picture.
That was crazy. That was a while
Hmm.
ago. We froze our butts off for those, but it was worth it. We left a
Hmm.
book there, but it's okay.
We left a book there over by the frozen lake,
Yeah,
but it
it's okay.
happens.
Worth it. We
Yes.
need to get some updated ones.
We do. We need to get some updated ones for
Hmm.
real so I can
Yes.
update that. But yeah, so if you've ever seen the cover art for Sincerely Self, Marissa was the one who
Mhm.
actually took that picture. Dude, that's so crazy. I just barely like thought about that.
That was a long. Yeah, that was
That was
long
like
ago.
last
I remember
year.
when you first made the Instagram and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, you
Mhm.
put the picture up for that. Like
Yeah.
even on your like Spotify too, it's on there, and
Mhm.
I was like, that's so
Yeah,
cute. Like
right?
I took that.
Yeah,
So.
I think it's so fun that like having friendships where you see each other grow
Mhm.
in like whatever we're pursuing, you know?
Mhm.
Like I remember when you first started doing your
Mhm.
photography and like you were there when I first started the podcast. So
Yeah.
I think it's so crazy to see kind of where we're at.
It's yeah, I remember we went to Cane's is when we talked about it.
Oh,
And you
yes.
said, "Yeah, like I want to start a podcast." And
Mhm.
it's just awesome too to see you actually like go for it and like to see like listen and hear like your episodes and like bring people in. Like you're
Mhm.
actually going for it cuz you love it too. So like I feel like that's so nice to see where we're both doing our own things and
Yes.
especially from like when we first knew each other. Like I was
Yeah.
kind of like a little on the photography, wasn't as
Mhm.
like as I am now, but like even then you like it's crazy. I feel like our younger selves would just be so like happy and shocked at where we're at right now.
Oh,
Mhm.
100%. Yeah, I think at the time when we met, like being a podcaster or like doing something
Mhm.
like this was something that I thought was cool, but I don't know if it was something that I thought I could pursue. Like
Mhm.
the version of me that I was at that time, like 2 years ago, I don't know if I thought that I could do something like
Mhm.
this. You know what I mean? So I think it's cool to see us both like getting over our fear of that and
Mhm.
like actually being like, no, we can do this. Like
Mhm.
we are doing this.
Mhm.
Like it's so fun.
Yeah, and I feel like again that kind of goes with the confidence. Like if you have it, go for it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think that does so much for you. Like I feel like you have like this confidence too and going in with the podcast and then I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the outcomes have been so great with it. So, mhm.
Yes, yes. Dude, I think like one of the biggest lessons that I've learned And I think maybe you'll relate on
Mhm.
this, is like sometimes when you are going through something that you
Mhm.
view as like really, really hard, or like some like going through a heartbreak or something like that, like you don't really see another side of it, like the good
Mhm.
side, like what comes after.
Mhm.
You're just so engulfed in like that moment.
Mhm.
And so I think sometimes the best things and like our confidence really grows from going through
Mhm.
the things like that. Cause I'm like, what we both kind of went through together at
Mhm.
the same time, like if I would not have gone through that, I don't know if my confidence would have grown as
Mhm.
much as it did. And I don't know if I would have put such a emphasis on self-love, because
Mhm.
that really was what taught me like I need to focus on
Mhm.
loving myself. So I make sure that I have standards with
Mhm.
the people that I surround myself with. So I think for me, I like going through hard things really pushed me
Mhm.
to do something like
Yeah,
this.
no, I would say the exact same thing. I think for me, it's like photography is kind of like, in a way, kind of like an escape from everything.
Mhm.
So I love it because it's just like, I'm not, it's just like, I'm there in the moment, which
Yeah.
has been super nice. It's kind of like, it's my, also kind of like a way of like taking care of myself in a way, because it's like,
Mhm.
I love doing it. And it's not something that I don't like.
Yeah.
So I think for me, turning to photography was kind of like a way to kind of like take away like the hurting or kind of like the pain of whatever I would have like gone through and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
think it's different for everybody. I would say like definitely photography is that thing for me. So
Yeah, like a little escape
hmm
almost. I love
yeah.
that. We'll have to do a podcast like towards the end of next year
Oh,
and
just
just
yeah, that
see
would be
like
awesome.
how far we've gotten, and been like,
hmm
oh, well, now I'm doing this. Like
Oh, that's
now
gonna
we're
be
this
so
far,
exciting. I'm
right?
excited to see what's in store for you with this podcast too. So
Dude, yes. I'm excited to see just like the point that we're both
hmm
at next year around this time. It's so crazy to think like it's only a year, but even this year, I'm like, so much has
hmm
changed in just a year. Like,
oh
you really
yeah,
never know what will
and
happen.
it goes by fast too. Like anything could happen. So
Yes. Okay, with that, I will end the episode here. Like I said, I will link all of Marissa's
hmm
photography links so that you can go and book with her and check it out. If you follow my main Instagram, I have some posts that are pictures that Marissa has
hmm
taken, like the pictures of my boyfriend, and then also the pictures that are the cover art for Sincerely
hmm
Self. She does amazing, amazing.
hmm
So you guys got to make sure to book with her, and make sure to follow the Instagram so you can see the clips that I'll be
hmm
posting from this episode. And I will see you guys next week.